Pensively, our shield looks down upon us.
Ты пытался сказать что-то раньше на корабле. Что именно?
It's come begging, Quercus. After ignoring us on the boat.
The squirrel reaches out and touches your ankle, sending a hot flush rippling through your body. Your mind's eye sees a new potential spell swirling before it.
И в болоте ты пытался что-то сказать.
Ah, Quercus, did you forget about our shield? It seems it hasn't forgotten about us, despite appearances.
The rodent lays its paw on your boot, and you feel something. In some corner of your mind, a new way of crafting magic slowly emerges.
There, Quercus. I have given the creature an advantage against the great acorn's servants. Now, shall we move on already?
Так, а куда он их сунул? Я что-то не поняла, куда он сунул.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A godwoken in my presence. You honor me.
Ты кто?
I am the Meister's apprentice. I study under her, but I do not learn. I hear tales of the ritual, of what lies beyond. Such wonders, such powers. I decide to pursue them myself. Meister tells me it cannot happen, that I am not godwoken. But in my heart, I know I'm special. I try. I burn the root. I breathe the smoke and it burns me back. No air fills my lungs, only fire. When the darkness falls, I cannot cry out. I leave my life behind with a shameful whimper.
Зачем было так рисковать? Ты осознавал, насколько это опасно?
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
cold steel it is then.
Once, this was a tavern, or a hotel, or a brothel.
A valiant warrior against the void. Taken too early, all hope destroyed. The path thus ended, the conclusion of a noble bloodline.
You're good with the
Who shall rise? Who gains the title most divine?
We got a right to leave, don't I? Throw him in a hole.
You have interrupted my newest masterpiece.
The bard clears his throat as though to continue, but suddenly stops short.
Wait a moment. You're the Lоусе at my home tavern? Be still, my wretched, wretched heart. The mistress of song is here.
Рада знакомству. Как тебе местная публика?
Madam, now that I can count you among their number, I should never find fault with them again. Please, would you let me compose a poem for you? It would be the most tremendous honor.
Нет, мне пора идти.
Of course, madam, of course. You mustn't allow me to detain you. But do know this. Mine is not the only life you've touched. I do so hope you'll return to the stage soon.
As you go, he clears his throat and starts to sing, directing his...
The mornings are darkest, and my crown tolls the terrible knell. When the beard ate my soul, and there's tarn my whisper minds well. I look to the day I heard Lоусе the...
An elf sways on her chair, her eyes focused on the counter in front of her, where she has 6 glasses in a row. With the nails of 2 fingers, she's pressing red welts into her forearm. She slides one of the drinks towards you, her head bobbling heavily on her neck as she nods at the sparkling ale.
And that's
Ты неважно выглядишь. Может, не стоит так налегать на выпивку?
drink or shut up.
Ну ладно. Выпью.
Nothing like a glass of the good stuff to smudge everything into a pretty shape.
She slides another glass of ale toward you. Its contents sparkle in the dim barlight.
Bottoms up.
Зачем тебе сегодня так хочется напиться?
It's a sad story about a lover who left me out cold. Name's mind your business.
Внутри разливается тепло от первого стакана. И второй кажется еще более желанным. Опрокидываю его.
Cheers to you, me, and...
Her gaze swivels around the room.
Damien's dull knife. This place is horrible. Never mind. Cheers to you, me, and me again. Another.
Хмурюсь и пристально рассматриваю ее. Ты не похожа на тех эльфов, что мне до сих пор встречались.
What do you mean?
Все дело в манере речи. Если бы не внешность, я бы приняла тебя за гнома.
Fat lot of good that'd do me around here. Boards Wolfies can't seem to catch a break in these parts. So, to the dwarves.
Смотрю на стакан в сомнениях, пить или нет. У меня уже кружится голова, и по телу разливается тепло.
Come on. Last one for the road.
Извини, я пойду.
Appeared. The sky cleared. I put down my beard, and she sang.
Блин, ты бы заткнулся, мужик, а?
And we cheered.
Another sorcerer on the loose. I knew they should have cut off the Meister's head and burned the rest. Gotta make
In my wishful mind,
Arguing with Mac is like giving medicine to the dead. He's as stubborn as a corpse and smells the part to boot. No wonder Papa Thrash gives...
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
Уважительно киваю.
Her eyes soften and crinkle as she smiles.
I see your mother raised you very well indeed. You and my Ned would get along. Nice to see an unfamiliar face. What brings you to Driftwood, darling?
Содрогаясь при воспоминаниях о Найлзе, садистские мучители из форта радости. Описываю внешности, спрашиваю.
Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. My, but it's been too long since I've seen him.
Я и правда его знала, но как безумца и извращенца.
A deviant? But what do you mean?
Он получал огромное наслаждение, причиняя боль узникам.
Tell me what you saw.
У него была сырая пещера, где он ради удовольствия питал пленников.
Prudence takes up a clean glass and starts to polish it with her rag, rubbing at invisible water spots with zeal.
Told him the Divine punished him for that nonsense if he kept it up. Told him and told him and told him till he couldn't see straight. I should have told him so hard he'd never get back up.
She turns away from you and continues polishing the glass, eyes darting quickly around the bar, focusing on nothing.
Так,
Damn right. You got a right to leave, don't I? Throw him in a hole for all. Is the ground good?
When the mornings are darkest and my crown tolls the terrible knell, and there's tar in my issue light, I lose the day I
She nods an uninterested greeting.
Here for the fight?
подраться? Почему сразу подраться?
This is a tavern. People are drinking. Eventually there'll be a fight. You planning on starting one?
Качаю головой.
Pity. Well, later then.
What?
Сибила, мне интересно, как тебе удалось избежать от хозяина.
Ha! A tale of cloaks and daggers and daredevilry. Are you up for it?
Да, я хочу послушать.
Wonderful.
She bows with thespian flair.
Imagine a black room. It's been your room for years. You know it by touch more than sight, for it's always dark. And when I say always dark, I mean always dark. You're either in the room or in the box, for it's in the box that you travel. You're only let out at night, because you only hunt in the night, with the master's voice in your ears urging you on. And after it's done, you lie down in the box once more, with wet hands and mad red thoughts.
Ящик? Как ты вообще смогла сохранить рассудок?
Sometimes it's best to let sleeping questions lie. The thing is, the box didn't break me, though I confess it taught me to hate. One night, I killed a scholar. With my needle through his fragile old skull, he fell headfirst upon his writing desk, blood mingling with spilt ink. It's when I saw the ink that timid thoughts of rebellion first bloomed. Back in my dark room, I dipped my needle that killed the scholar in his own ink and engraved his name in my skin. I'd remember him. I'd honor him with vengeance. His name was the first, but many more followed.
Можно взглянуть на его имя?
Of course.
She bares her left arm and shows you the name. You softly run your finger across it.
Mindarin. He was Turashar, a keeper of stories. I'm sure he was loved by many. People like him, the beloved dead,
They kept me going. Then, one day, it happened. A gush of wind, a sliver of light. Light! I hardly knew it for what it was. A simple oversight that comes with habit. A door, left slightly ajar. That was all I needed to feel a rush of blood, a thirst for liberation like never before. I tore at the shackles that kept me chained to the floor, iron thick as a smith's wrists. Of course they wouldn't budge, they never did before. But now that I saw the light, something welled up inside me, a raw and undeniable burst of power. The shackles broke, and next thing I knew, I was free. I stood alone outside the ruins of a fortress, snow-capped peaks all around me. But the sun, oh, the sun. I had risen as if from the grave, and she kissed me back to life.
Эх, да, я под впечатлением. Вот эта история.
Ain't over yet, honey.
А почему ты используешь иглу для убийства? Почему не меч, не кинжал?
I was given my needle by the master. Guess I'm just sentimental like that.
Закатываю глаза. Если не хочешь отвечать, можешь просто не отвечать.
Fine, if it means that much to you.
She draws her needle and holds it up between thumb and index finger.
Go on. Ever so gently touch the tip.
Хорошо. Протягиваю руку и легонько касаюсь пальцем острия иглы.
Barely have you touched the needle's pinpoint surface when a thick droplet of blood wells up from your fingertip.
Sharp little minx, isn't she? Sibyl, this needle was forged in an altogether different world. It wasn't wrought upon a crude anvil, hammered into shape with rough blows. No, it was cast with demon precision. It is absolutely priceless, and it's yours. The master's own words. And he was right. As an instrument of assassination, it's absolutely priceless. But one day soon, he'll find out just how much he overspent on his gifts for little old me. Just why this needle is a girl's best friend. One might say I'm a bit of a sucker for poetic justice.
Just when I think this land holds no more surprises, I find myself in some place even more dismal than the last. Still, at least this is an interesting variation on dismal.
Фейн, а что вообще представлял из себя мир вечных?
The skeleton stands quietly for a moment.
I'm not sure. Centuries in a tomb can warp one's memory. I remember the big things, of course. My library, my home, my king, my family. But the rest, it's all covered in a fog. And the more I see of this world, the thicker that fog seems to get.
Твоя семья оказалась у тебя в самой нижней части списка.
They came rather low in my life, alas. My wife and daughter always had to compete with my work for my attention. And my work was always stiff competition. They were often neglected. I wonder how many more years they spent neglected before. Well, before whatever happened, happened.
Библиотека? Ты был библиотекарем?
I was a scholar, researching the secrets of the universe. Had I been allowed to proceed, my people could have ascended to godhood as one. An entire race of deities, with a perfect understanding of the universe. It would have solved all of our problems.
А ваш король, он вообще что такое? Или кто?
Once I would have boasted that it was the best form of government. Indeed, it was the only form of government we knew. Living forever under the rule of a wise king is one thing. But if that king should turn into a despot, if he should reject philosophy and the natural arts for the sake of power, well, I cannot imagine a worse torture.
Я в чертогах Эка с кое с кем повстречалась.
Indeed, so I gathered from your earlier prattling. I also met someone.
Тебя, кажется, что-то угнетает. В чем дело?
Oh, nothing is wrong. Simply unexpected. The person I met was without doubt a god, at least by your standards. When I wore flesh, I knew her as the Lady Armadia. She was one of the 7 lords that served our king.
Так ты был знаком с богами? И что они представляли себя в те времена?
Naturally, they acted as any lords would. They bowed to their king and sneered at their lessers. And there was an awful lot of sneering, even back then. One can only imagine how much there is now.
Есть вещи, которые не меняются, невзирая на времена.
Yes, well, if you are quite finished wasting my time, I believe we have some business to get on with.
Well now, how's my favorite god woken?
Мне любопытно, ты не расскажешь, как тебя схватили магистры?
His eyes glitter as he stands tall to tell the story, hands waving expressively. You can see it's a story he's used to telling, one he enjoys weaving for an audience.
So, underneath the tavern in Driftwood, there's a place I feel right at home. A delightful little hive of scum and villainy. A few months back, I was relaxing down there after a job. Just a hint of Drudene. You know, a hint. All of a sudden, a tiger prowls in. I jump up, but everyone else is just ignoring it. And then he picks up my scent. His eyes turn blue, and he leaps to pounce on me. A fury of claws and teeth.
Ты чё, друидьяны накурился?
I flip the table and start scrambling for my crossbow. Nowhere to be found. And by now, the tiger's right on top of my eyeballs. So I do the only thing I can think of. I summon Afrit, my soul wolf. And now everybody reacts. Screaming, scrambling around, pelting for the stairs. Drinks flying everywhere. And that pesky tiger? Nowhere to be seen.
Ну точно друидьяны накурился.
Turns out it was Drudene messing with me. Stronger stuff than I'm used to. Also turns out some people don't appreciate spectral wolves tearing up the place. So some people called magisters on me.
Ахаха. Слушай, ты можешь рассказать об этой подземной таверне?
Well, it's guarded by a grouchy-seeming dwarf named of Papa Thrash. But he's a real sweetheart once you get to know him. I love that password of his. Open minds and closed fists.
Мы уже давно путешествуем. Ты вообще откуда родом?
I'm from the deserts of Mezd originally. My parents died when I was very young, no more than a cub. They were spice merchants, killed by bandits as we were trading on the forest roads. The elves nearby saved me afterwards. They found me hiding in a wagon and they took me in.
Ifan bites his lip, hard enough to draw blood.
They were my home until I was old enough to join the Order. Mother Melody always said I'd have a hard life. She saw it as fact, since I was born under the waxing moon.
По-моему, эльфийские лунные приметы — голимый бред.
Could be. Here's hoping. But I haven't seen anything to contradict the spirit of mine. Yet.
Так значит, ты вырос в лесу. Ты не мог бы научить меня чему-то полезному?
For sure. Always carry a snack.
Ifan reaches into his tunic pocket and pulls out a strip of dried raw meat. He takes a tiny bite and offers the rest to you.
Осторожно беру солонину.
Now, what else do I have to share?
Ifan rummages around the roll-down tops of his boots and grins in victory as he plucks a single mushroom from the folds.
Aha.
He hands you the mushroom with great ceremony, bowing as he holds it aloft.
А грибы тоже надо есть сырыми?
Oh, I wouldn't. This one's not for eating. But I'll tell you, it comes in handy if you're dining with someone who really needs to lose their life. And soon.
Ifan smiles and looks around before reaching high into his sleeve and pulling out a tiny herbal wrap. The unmistakable scent of Drudene hits you as he holds it out to you.
The last weapon in the lone wolf arsenal. You know, for after the toughest jobs.
He winks and tips his fingers to his temples before...
Ah, finally! Your colleague over there is absolutely useless. I'll have a bowl of the house stew, if you please.
Слушай, я не официант.
Oh, pity. I've been trying to get a little something to eat all day. But the giggleheads who run this establishment don't seem to be willing to provide a fellow with his fair portion. After all I've been through, too.
He lowers his gaze, then looks up at you expectantly.
Ладно, что случилось-то?
His lip trembles dramatically.
It's my mentor. My dear mentor. He was... killed by those void beasts. I told him we ought not to travel in the hills, but would he listen? No. Now here I sit, my closest companion gone, our precious cargo worth more than Lucian's right ring, lost to the beast-infested wilds. And the waiter won't even bring me any stew.
Что за груз-то? Возможно, мне удастся его вернуть.
Ah, then perhaps my luck has changed. Yes, perhaps this awful business might soon be behind me. Tell me, how are you with, well, Voidwoken?
Мне уже приходилось убивать их в прошлом. Похоже, придется и в будущем.
Ah, terrific news. Then what I ask will be little more than a trifling. My mentor, Liam, and I were hauling in a goodly number of fine wares from the Southlands when we crossed paths with a great brute of a Voidwoken. It made short work of Liam, may the gods rest his soul. I managed to escape, but my precious cargo was left behind. We'd invested our entire livelihood in those wares. I'll do anything to get them back.
Ты довольно много просишь. И как же ты собираешься это оплачивать?
Very, very well, that's how. That cargo is worth more than a pretty penny, and I'll owe its retrieval to you and you alone. Now, give me your map. I'll show you just where to look. I can't tell you how thoroughly you've made my day.
He fixes you with a stare, looks you up and down, weighs you up, the cut of your cloth, the weight of your bag. A moment, then a smile creases his face, a smile carefully constructed to look friendly and authentic. A smile...
Greetings, stranger. Looking to ease the pain of a decaying world. You're in the right place. Beers are ordered at the bar, but can I interest you in a nourishing bowl of stew?
В смысле, у них тут еще и бордель? Блин, он заткнется или нет? Чтоб я еще хоть раз подошла к этому гному.
Curiosity kills the cat. Or gets its sense of
A weathered
joy.
woman in a dirty sea captain's tunic babbles breathlessly to herself, and somewhere nearby you hear a bell ringing.
The bell rings a warning and the tide is on the turn. And I without my compass.
Если бы у тебя был компас, значит, ты капитан корабля. А где же корабль?
The ship is in the locker, on the bottom in the rocky shallows, and all are drowned but me. And yet, can you hear? The bell rings on. The bell haunts me yet, and it would drive me mad.
Да, я тоже слышу колокол. И жестокий смех.
I'm haunted by my crew. They ring the bell to drive me mad. Please make it stop.
She buries her head in her hands and cries.
Make it stop.
And I'm saying,
A ghostly seaman stares at the captain, his lip curled in a malevolent grin.
Слушай, а у тебя есть семья? Спутник жизни? Дети? Было бы досадно, если они останутся без тебя. Что ж, да, умеешь ты убеждать. Иди уж.
The ghostly seaman rings his bell, his hate directed at his captain. He turns to you.
Curiosity kills the cat.
Spoke to the lady captain, didn't you? I seen you cozying up. Are you her woman, or sail you with us?
Я поплыву с радостью, но только если буду уверена в капитане.
Then you won't sail with her. She ran the ship upon the rocks, although I rang the bell. That light weren't no lighthouse. I rang the bell in warning, and she ran the ship upon the rocks. You ran the ship upon the rocks, Captain, and all the crew were drowned.
Тебе пора ставить паруса. Жизнь закончилась, можно брать курс на чертоги.
I'm doing my duty here, I am. I'm the lookout, and I'm ringing the bell. Rocks ahead, Captain. There's no lighthouse here. Rocks ahead.
Ты мертв. Нечего задерживаться на этом свете.
But I'm on duty here. There are rocks ahead, and the captain must know it.
Вахта окончена, моряк. Ты свободен.
He blinks once, twice. A single salty tear drips from one ghostly eye. The bell falls silent. He raises a finger to his temple in salute and fades away.
Curiosity kills the cat. It's sent to Fort Joy.
She babbles breathlessly on, barely aware you're there, and nearby sounds a ringing bell.
My ears are still a-ringing.
Странно. Больше колокол звонить не должен.
And I have you to thank for it? Then thank you, I surely do. That accursed bell lies with the peacemaker, on the bottom in the rocky shallows. My compass lies there too.
А что с компасом?
The compass surely lies on the bottom, near where the ship was wrecked. Take it with my blessing, if you can find it. My sailing days are done.
Слушай, а где вообще затонули?
Let me mark your chart. But you be warned. Stay off the wreck itself. Let her lie as a monument to her dead crew, and as testament to my mistake.
А что с грузом миротворца? Он был вообще? Может, имеет смысл его поднять?
She goes white as the proverbial ghost.
You've got no call to go looking for no cargo. Far as anyone's concerned, we sailed with an empty hold, and if there's anything left to salvage, you leave it where it is. Heed me. Leave the cargo of the peacemaker alone.
She turns away.
Что-то неладно с этим грузом.
You're willing to risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an
Это
idiot.
дороже стоит. Так.
It's a shame, it is.
An absolute shame.
Вы о чем? Что еще за позор?
Alexander, slaughtered like a supper lamb. Poor dear.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. Never thought I'd say this. I hope they round up them sorcerers for good. I ain't leading one sick in a void woken on me.
You said it, Hilka. You're a true patriot.
Risk Fort Joy for one night with a lizard? Then you're an idiot. Yeah? What do you want?
А, пинту пива и миску похлебки.
See this uniform? That makes me and Tatcha here magisters, not waiters. Get me? Good. Now, tell you what. To make up for your little social blunder, you can help us settle an argument.
Ну ладно, что за вопрос?
Tatcha here is one of my dearest friends, but she isn't the brightest.
Tatcha grins hello.
Our mate Boris got posted to Fort Joy for consorting with lizards. And Thatcher here still fancies a turn around the park with Loverick's lizard. I say she'd be sleeping with the enemy. What say you?
They look at you expectantly.
Слушай, если Тэтчер хочет романтических отношений, то ей далеко ходить не надо. Ведь ясно же, что Эдин в нее влюблена.
Thatcher bursts out laughing. Eden goes bright red.
Get lost before I throw you in a cell for disrespecting a magister. Two magisters. The magisters.
Thatcher doesn't look disrespected. Thatcher looks amused.
Disrespecting one magister's enough. Go on, get lost.
She turns back to her drink.
Of course it's not true.
You're right about that. Right as rain.
Smile all you want. I'm not in love with you.
Weathered and rugged, the man sleeps soundly. He mumbles in his slumber.
There's bad things in the caves. Bad dwarf things.
Да, в пещерах действительно злые штуки.
His eyes flicker open, but he looks like he's still asleep.
А подробнее о гномьих штуках в пещерах.
Blood and oil do mix, after all.
А это про черные копья, по-моему. Просыпайся!
Startled, he opens his eyes, but he's staring into the distance. He's still asleep.
Но кровь и масло ведь не смешиваются, верно?
The island is ruined and doesn't have a name. Don't go there.
Остров без названия? Он про кровавую луну, что ли? Что-то я не помню. Просыпайся!
His eyes flicker open, but he looks like he's still asleep.
Что за безымянный остров?
There's no graveyard on the island. Stay away from the graveyard.
А кладбище-то ему чем не понравилось.
His eyes open, but he doesn't see you.
Где находится кладбище и почему мне туда нельзя?
Sawdust and wolves, mother. Sawdust and wolves.
А это про лесопилку.
His eyes open, but he doesn't see you.
Волки в опилках?
Arcs for Lucian's Day sounds nice, mother.
Так, ладно. Пусть спит.
Get away from my chest.
Да-да, я не буду трогать твой сундук.
You got that right, Ilka. You got that right.
And I'm saying, I can see a silk.
As you approach the silken-robed noble, Ifan does a double-take and laughs in recognition. He pulls you to one side.
I know this man, and he's not at all what he seems. A moment?
Ну, конечно, иди.
Ifan bounds forward and embraces the man, all effusive greetings. As they part, talking animatedly, the man's beard slips sideways down his face. He's wearing a disguise. Ifan laughs as he straightens the beard. They chatter away for some time, using a guttural cant you struggle to understand. At one point, the man says something and looks over at you intently. If the man hunkers down and seems to be sketching a rough map on the floor, using an apple, some playing cards, and a fistful of threads pulled up from the carpet. Ifan claps the man on the back and turns to leave.
Well, now we know the way to the sawmill. And we know Roos thinks I'm bringing you there as part of the Godwoken contract. That. Roost
So,
camped out of this.
Roost is at a sawmill. Let's pay him a visit, shall we?
Да, киваю с усмешкой.
She smiles. Her eyes are dark pools brimming with anticipation.
Must be an awful lot of fun toys to be had at a sawmill.
Какие такие игрушки на лесопилке?
That would be my stomach, my lord. Perhaps I could go downstairs for a bit of stew?
Absolutely not. The coffers, man. The coffers, they're to be guarded day and night.
Yes, of course. Of course, my lord.
Ну, сундуки, сундуки. Чё такого?
Doesn't this room strike you as eerie? There's a chill in the air, a deeper darkness in the shadows. But, of course, I should hold my tongue and stand guard. All's well as long as my lord's
Here now. When one's in a small town, one must expect small town manners, I see. Have you a reason for barging into my room, madam?
Исключительно из врожденного любопытства.
Which is what killed the cat, remember? Still, no harm done, I suppose. I may as well introduce myself. Baron Levere, at your service.
Барон, а ты откуда и куда держишь путь?
Travels, you say? And why would you assume I'm a traveling man?
Стоимость одежды. Вряд ли бы настолько богатый человек стал селиться в такой дыре, как Дрифтвуд.
He laughs heartily.
Of all things, I wouldn't have thought my cloak would give me away, but you're quite right, of course. I am traveling, yes, to Arx. Lucian's Day will be upon us soon, a celebration no man with a heart that is both as pious and mercantile as mine should miss.
А зачем тебе на день Люциана?
I go because it is every citizen's duty, our communal obligation to chant the rites of the return and pray for Lucian's divine resurrection. That said, I do have more secular motivations as well. Arx positively overflows with pilgrims during the festival, pilgrims and their purses. As a merchant, it is quite my favorite day of the year.
Слушай, ну если ты торговец, я бы глянул на товары.
Music to my ears. A happy accident after all, you're barging into my room.
Ну извини. Но Ифану сюда надо
If
было,
there's
в
anything
любом
else you
случае.
need, know you're always welcome.
Так.
Of course it's not true. My lord, I'm not in love with you. And I can see a sorcerer from a mile away. And you can't be too
Суд. А мне на него не хватит. Ладно, жаль. Так, ну тут вроде больше ничего интересного нет. Вроде бы.
My lord, you want. I'm not in love with you.
The spirit of a magister stares dumbly at her translucent hand, the fingers of which have been sheared off.
My ring! Where's my ring?
Что с тобой произошло?
The spirit pivots her wrist, staring at the fingerless hand, utterly, morbidly entranced.
I should have been more careful. She hacked at my sword hand first. I couldn't defend myself.
Когда ты умерла? Недавно?
The spirit's lips part, trying to form an answer, but it doesn't come. She forlornly stares at you, unable to find the words.
Так, ладно. Кто на тебя напал?
The spirit stares, absorbing your question. Finally, she points her fingerless hand towards the kitchen.
Кухня?
Papa no, you no go.
Я ищу гнома по имени Лоха.
He grins, unpleasantly.
Loha didn't tell me to let any pretty lady in, so why should I?
Открытый разум, сжатый кулак.
He cocks his head to one side and peers appraisingly into your eyes, shrugging his shoulders.
What's this? I found something.
Скорее всего, труп какой-нибудь закопанный. Заначка. Ну, заначка это тоже неплохо.
Look at that. A fresh face. And a pretty little kisser it is, too. Welcome be, Governor. Take a load off and enjoy Effie's plunder down under.
What do you want? Boss is busy.
Кто твой босс?
Loha, you've been living under a boulder.
Я здесь по делу.
Good. Boss could use some good news. Listen up. Don't waste his time.
Marla's one of us.
I brought you up from girl to woman, Marla. Like you was my own. This.
He lifts his right arm, showing a white bandage beneath his ribs. A wet red spot shows through.
This ain't the thanks I expected. Who sent you?
The formidable dwarf slams his fist on the side table. You hear a loud crack.
Enough! Do you know they killed Anna? Do ya? Start talking sense or I'll take that tongue right out of your mouth and fry it for supper. Bart, Cade, get her to talk or bleed her out. She ain't one of mine anymore.
His sneer travels from the restrained dwarf to you.
And you. You better have a damn good reason for coming here.
Come, sister. What did you think was gonna...
Brave lass, waltzing in here now. I hope for your sake you've got good news for me.
Слушай, а чё с Тыгномихой-то?
Family matter. She's one of mine. Acting like her brains are scrambled, though. Came after me with a knife. Lucky for me, she caught an old wound. Scar slowed down the knife. So, how'd you make it out of Fort Joy?
Откуда ты вообще об этом узнал? Ни один магистр нас не заметил.
I've got people. They've got people. People talk. The Magisters never shut up long enough to listen.
Блин.
But me, I love a good story. Here's one I heard lately. A group of strangers landed on the beaches outside town. Meister Seaver's people. You one of her little seekers? Chasing down Godwoken and begging them to save us all?
Ухмыляюсь. Да, как это так?
So, what do you want?
Мне нужны сведения. Я ищу могущественных колдунов.
Ah, I should have guessed. I could help you. But last I heard you was working for the Magisters. Big shots at the boats. Now, why in the name of all that hurts would I help a worm like that?
Я делала лишь то, что было нужно, чтобы выжить.
An unpleasant smirk twitches around the corners of his mouth.
Right. I reckon I could help you out. Depending on what you can do for me.
Что ты имеешь в виду?
He gestures towards the bandage across his side.
Had a bit of family trouble lately. My girl Marla got it in her head to come after me with a short blade. That ain't like Marla. Ain't like her to pull the silent treatment either. Something's going on. And wouldn't you know it, that blade she used wasn't any normal bit of steel. Belonged to another of my people. Guy's name is Mordus. Bit of a loner, but smart as hell. I sent a few guys to go check on him, see if he knew what had got into Marla, but no one can find him. I'd like a word with the guy.
А ты вообще хочешь, чтобы Мордос пережил эту беседу?
That'd be up to him, wouldn't it? No one's seen him in a good few. I've got some people checking out his house near the tavern now, though. Tell them I sent you, and they'll let you know what they've found. Truth is, they might be glad to see you. Reckon a sorcerer will have better luck finding one of their own.
Да, я разберусь, киваю.
One more thing. Like I said, Mordus is a sorcerer. Maybe even one of the ones Seaver's after. If there's something you want to find out from him, you might want to ask before I have my word with him. Here, you can take this off my hands. More suited to your kind, really. Good luck.
Так, Сивила. О. А чё у меня тут? А нифига у меня тут. Жаль, жаль.
Tell the truth now. Who was it that sent you?
A bubbling and up.
What did you think was gonna happen?
Да.
Mercy, mercy.
Алтарь? В каком месте тут алтарь? А. Арена. Не. Я туда не полезу. Это неинтересно. Вообще неинтересно.
Watch him fight. Watch him. See that? Right.
Hail. What a pretty young thing you are. Call me Dorothea.
She draws close. You feel her breath on your neck, hot, moist.
Oh, yes. I have something that you want. But I only bargain with those I deem... Are you worthy of my gift?
А что именно ты вообще делаешь?
Love. I must consider your merits before I answer your questions. Why, I wouldn't tease you with a gift I could never offer. You don't
Иди
very
нафиг.
well, but you'll be back.
Не.
The tigers fly, the leopards lie, and you, oh! But I know you, don't I? I have seen you in the night, the woman with a demon's heart. Just a dream, of course, just a dream.
Так, а зачем книга воды? Так. отмычки. Отмычки надо. Сперный набор. Ладно, пусть будет.
Ifan approaches you, a drink in his hand and a wide smile on his face. He clearly feels at home in this grimy place.
Want a drink?
Киваю.
He grins and hands you a drink, full of good cheer.
It's really been some adventure so far, eh?
Да, мне нравится путешествовать.
One must stop to appreciate the good moments, right? And if this isn't a good one, I don't know what is.
Ifan looks around at the Undertavern, contentment plain in his eyes.
Ah, well, plenty of drinks to be had when the world's saved.
Чокаемся бокалом.
To Rivellon.
Киса мой, ты еще и мяукаешь.
The cook acknowledges you with a small bow, an oddly formal gesture given the surroundings.
Please, madam, you should not be back here. It's not safe.
Я говорила с магистром Харик. Она весьма огорчена обстоятельствами своей смерти.
A ghost? Peddle your children's tales elsewhere. I have work to do.
Чё, я даже почитать не могу.
I'm watching you, stranger.
Elsa, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some more.
Of course, sir. Right away.
The Magister startles, realizing there's a stranger in his midst.
What do you want? You can't just come in here as you please. There's Magisters missing. I'm trying to conduct a bloody investigation.
Извини, я здесь недавно. Не хотела никому мешать.
Well, mind your bloody step in future. I've an investigation to carry out, and I don't need any more distractions.
Расследование? А что за беглец?
Yes, a vile little tinkerer goes by the name of Higba. 3 of my Magisters have gone missing of late from right here in Driftwood. All signs are that Higba is responsible.
Убийца должно быть отличный боец, раз уж он в одиночку одолел магистров.
Hardly. By all accounts, he seemed like just another money-grubbing nobody. He must have caught my Magisters unawares. It's the only explanation. No matter, he'll face justice either way. If you catch sight of that dog, tell me or my men at once. Well, do you know anything? Stop wasting my time. Hell with her. I need those reports, damn it.
Слушай, а мне сюда можно вообще? Не хочу их резать. Я их не хочу резать.
The Magister turns to you with a scowl. He already seemed immensely displeased, and your interjection isn't improving his mood.
What?
Я ощущаю, насколько твой дух встревожен и неспокоен. Если в другом месте его будут ценить выше, пусть отправляется туда немедленно.
Who asked you? You're not even supposed to be down here.
Здесь кажется довольно безопасно, вряд ли тебя хватится.
The Magister glances around the cells, before ripping the keys from his belt and casting them aside.
This isn't the divine order I signed up for. Not anymore. I'm done.
Nice.
Так.
The spirit of an emaciated prisoner is staring down at his own corpse. He shakes his head and lets out an exasperated sigh.
Of all the stupid ways to go.
За какое преступление тебя сюда посадили?
The spirit scowls at you.
I did nothing. Or I didn't do what they accused me of, at least. A miscarriage of justice is what this is.
Сочувствую. С тобой явно обошлись несправедливо.
That's putting it bloody lightly. Nobody deserves to rot in a hole like this.
А что с тобой случилось?
Oh, it was a stupid bloody accident. I dosed myself with some poison to make it look like I was half dead. I figured they'd take me to see a healer and I'd have a chance to escape. I must have taken too much of the stuff, though. Wound up fully dead instead of half dead. Those bastards haven't even moved me body.
Ты знаешь другие способы отсюда сбежать?
Best leave that secret for someone who needs it. You can stroll out of here whenever you like.
Так. Это все не то. Это вообще не то. А это просто лист. Это я удачно сюда зашла. Определенно. Пусто. Чё, и тут пусто. Ну-ка. Мне интересно. Сивила, давай, скрывай. Так. Берем. Стоп, что? А, это спираль дракона.
Let it be known henceforth to each and every subject here, in the absence of our beloved Alexander, Bishop Divine, slain as were let fly by the perfidious lizards of the ancient empire, the divine order of Lucian is now led by his Dallas, Hammer of the Divine, say the hammer shall take counsel from her most hail to the hammer.
Advisors, eh? Who do you think it is? The Void Dragon, Damien, Leandra, and all Thring?
Maybe we're in the wrong line of business, eh, my trusted advisor?
В смысле, это Ифан пошутил так?
Blessings of the divine upon you, my lady. My husband and I were just sitting down for a picnic under the sun. We haven't much to offer, but would you care to join us?
Мне очень приятно, но мне бы не хотелось лишать вас этих жалких крох.
Nonsense, come. Sit, sit. We are pilgrims, and pilgrims share no matter what. There you go, all cozy. So tell me, are you heading to Arks like we are? Nicholas and I wouldn't miss Lucian's Day for the world.
Да, я направляюсь в Аркс, но не на торжества.
Oh, but you must visit the cathedral, please do. The more pilgrims pray for his return, the sooner Lucian will walk among us once more, just like the prophecy says. So come, let us break bread and strengthen ourselves for the journey. We have a sacred duty ahead of us in the holy city of Arks.
You eat, drink, and have a good time of it with Glory and her husband.
Так, все, на этом я с вами заканчиваю. А хотя... Собака. Ну-ка, а чё это собака? Эй! Да блин.
Hackles raised. The dog barks at the sand built up beneath the building.
Да что ты лаешь?
There's something not right, and that's wrong. It's under the house thing there, and it's bad. I can smell it.
Надо доверять своему чутью, я проверю.
You be careful now. What's under there smells real bad. It smells evil.
Слушай, а как мне вниз-то пройти? Стоп. А это случаем не этот? Не склад? Так. Что, у меня никакого желания нет сюда идти? Вообще никакого желания сюда идти нет.
You, stranger! What are you doing here?
У меня свои дела с твоим начальством.
Grumbling, the Magister turns back to her patrol.
I wish I could swim.
Пес. Нет, туда я не пойду. Туда я определенно не пойду. Смысл туда идти? Во-первых, гости Лоусе будет орать, как потерпевшие. А во-вторых, мне это оружие нафиг не упало.
This must be the place Lohar mentioned. It looks unassuming enough.
Так, ладно. На этом мы с вами заканчиваем.